Well, hello, and welcome back. So today I'm just doing. Oh, let me get over to where we are. Okay, I'm just doing some client work, and I figured I don't think there's too much in the way of sensitive data that we got to worry about here or any proprietary information. So I'm just streaming it. Let me give you a little bit of a background on what I've done, and this is just going to be good for me to get back into this for the next 45 minutes or so. I am working on a SQL Server, and my goal is really just to get access to it's a list of about 500 tables. So let me back up even further. The client doesn't know what they want, as per usual. But this time they were clear in letting me know that they didn't know what they wanted. They want to get some data from some employee table in a database that has existed for years and years and years. And there's a bunch of tables in there, and some of them are old and some of them are new, and they've just been added to. And so they basically just want me to be able to grep through the database and figure out which tables have the data that looks similar to what they want, and then to be able to report back, okay, take a look at these couple of tables and these table descriptions, and let's figure things out from there. All right, so that's where we're kind of starting from. So it's MS SQL Server, which is different from Postgres and MySQL in that with both of those it's pretty easy to get out table information. And let me just show you something redonkulous here. So I have to hide things away. This is an example of what my env file looks like. So I've just got some username, password, host, basically database connection credentials are in there. Let me bring this up. And then I've created some scripts. So there is a SQL do, which is going to source the real.env file. It's going to run a SQL command. It's going to connect to the database, and then it is going to run the command that I give it. So you're going to see me doing this. Because the way that SQL Server works in comparison to most other databases, it's a lot more tedious to use. And so it was better for me or at least I don't know how to use it in a way that's not tedious. So I created some scripts. So basically, rather than using what generally we have the REPL, which is, I forget what it stands for, read, evaluate, print loop. Normally you type at the database and you hit enter when you're ready to run whatever you want to run. But in SQL Server, for some reason, I can't paste multiple lines at a time. And so what I end up doing is I'm writing these scripts. And so I've got, let's see, db show db tables. Is that what I want? Let me take a look in these two folders here. Oh, db table describe. I put that in the wrong place. So let's go db table describe. Let's bring that over here. Oh, wait, why is that a .sh? Should that be a .sh? Oh, okay, yeah, I see what that is. Oh, that one should work now too. Okay. So I'm going to run that one. Oh, and that's why I'm confused. This is a SQL file. This is not a shell file. It just has the wrong ending there. Let me go ahead and put that here. Okay, so I'm going to run this command that I've got, SQL do, and then I'm going to give it what I want it to run. And, oh, this is just terrible. So 2 rows affected, but if we look, let's see if I can scroll back here. It's almost all blank space. So I'm trying to get descriptions of the table. Look at this. Look at all these. I don't know if you're used to MySQL or Postgres, but when you have column names that are really long, sometimes you get this problem where things wrap over forever. But check this out, okay? It's just, whoops, let's go all the way back here. None of these things are long. This is the weirdest thing ever. None of these things are long. They're all short enough. I don't think a single one of these is, well, maybe table qualifiers over 10 characters, but basically most of these column names are within 10 characters, and yet, well, okay, so these are a little bit longer. That's, no, well, not that much longer. So this is the longest one here. That's maybe 20 characters. No, because there's a space there. So yeah, these are all actually, in the 10 to 20 characters are the longest. But for some reason, SQL Server prints out all of the white space. So if it's a varchar 255, it prints out 255 spaces if it's a blank column. So this makes it impossible to read. And so I'm just trying to figure out what the heck I can do to list all these tables. And I tried doing a backup. I can't do the backup of the database because, dumbest thing ever, most databases, when you do a backup, the computer on which you are running the command to do the backup is the computer where the backup is made. So you are siphoning the data out of the remote server into the local client to create your backup file. SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server doesn't work that way. So I can't just create a backup and then grep through, and everything's just really tedious. Anyway, I'm having a hard time with this. But what I'm going to try to do is, if I were to take this as output, let me escape here. If we take this into calls.txt, let's call that. If I use a little Vim magic and I just replace all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blank spaces with nothing. There we go. So that huge giant, and I could do the same thing here. I could just take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. Okay, so if we get rid of all of the empty space, this is a lot easier to read. This is what it looks like. There's another problem, because even if we clean this up, there's still too much information to easily display all at once. But I can't select on the table names easily, or I think that's what happened here. Oh yeah, I had to do this really roundabout way. Let me go back into the SQL command. Let me bring that back in here. Vim SQL DB, I think it was table describe. Okay. So the thing that you do in SQL Server to be able to describe the columns is exec sp underscore columns. Now sp is a convention. All of the built-in stored procedures, sp stored procedures, begin with sp underscore. So this is stuff that's just built into a Microsoft SQL Server database. And then the way that you do table names is kind of weird. Most databases, you do a quote or a backtick or something that looks like a quote, double quote, backtick, whatever. They use brackets, which is fine, I guess, because you're less likely to have brackets in a table name than you are to have an apostrophe, because all the time people do, spreadsheet to database and back and forth, and a lot of times in people's spreadsheet columns, they'll put an apostrophe in a table name, so I can see that being reasonable, but just so you know why that looks the way it does. Anyway, but this gives back a whole ton of information, and you cannot turn this into a subquery because it returns, I guess, a multi-table. So you can't just do select whatever tables you're looking for. I can't just do select table name from and treat this as a subquery. Instead, what I actually have to do is do this open query thing, which I had to log in as the database administrator to turn on the data access controls to be able to do this. But you're basically doing a more traditional, what we call, exec, as in you're telling the database to open a remote database, except you're telling it to open itself. So it's connecting to another server, it's connecting to itself, and then it's going to run the exec, and then it's going to treat that output as a table, and for some reason this works instead. So anyway, I've got that solution kind of figured out, and I'm documenting all this stuff as well, so it'll become available on, I think I'm going to put this on the Root Company blog, because it's not really something that's generic enough to go on the Beyond Code blog. But anyway, so I have this for the future. The next step that I need to do is I need to take the list of all of the tables that are in the database, and I need to do this for each one of them. So, and I'm just gonna have to use a mix of Bash and SQL here, because it would be cool if I could have it loop through, but I don't think I can do that. But if I gotta have it loop through all of the table, all of the tables in the database and describe each of them. But it's doing loops in SQL is hard, and it's different for every database, and there's always things you run into. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to comment all this stuff out, although this is actually useful. This stuff up here ended up not being useful, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Yeah, that can be deleted because none of that ended up being useful. This is useful, but let's see, table name, column def. Huh. I don't know if I actually got all that information out. Let me try running this again real quick. So we're going to put that in calls, and then I'm just going to do my replacing spaces. Interestingly enough, that did not do, huh. I think this is the table name. Why in the world would that not? Where did imp go? Oh, because it's an exact multiple. Okay. So I'll have to do an odd number instead. Let me try, or let's see. The white space is an exact multiple of what it happens. Let me see if I just do 9. There we go. There we go. So now it's printing out. So this method doesn't work perfectly. I wonder if I could. Okay, first I'm going to figure this out, because I'm going to take this, I'm going to get the list of all the tables, and what I just did now, whatever this process is, I'm going to apply it to all 500, and then I'll be able to grep through the descriptions to find things that I'm looking for, like employee ID, which is one of the things. We're trying to figure out which tables reference employee ID and first name and stuff like that, and I just want to get this an automated process and have this something I can use in the future, because it turns out I'm ending up doing a little bit more work with companies that have local installations of SQL Server. So it's good to have this, solve it once and solve it forever. Okay, so I'm backing up here. Everything looks terrible. I should just take any number, all white space, and replace it with a single white space or single tab. Let's try that. Let's see how that will work. Oh, no, that was bad. Okay, I could repeat that to show you, but I actually won't, because I don't want to waste time. So I did any amount of white space, which means 0 or more. I need to do 1 or more. It needs to be the white space, and I'm going to replace it with tab. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty great. And then let's get rid of all of this nonsense here. So get rid of 8 and replace it with just 1. Let's see how that works out for us. Still pretty bad. Let's try again. Okay, cool. Good enough. This is workable. So table name, column def. Now I need to find a way to make this work. This is going to have to work for 500. So the way that I did it isn't quite going to work. I think this might actually be a task where we put in a little bit of scripting. Now, if I had known awk, because somebody was telling me awksthebomb.com and I should use awk. A lot of people say that, but then I never know why. I could probably write an awk script to do this, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to write it in Node, because that is what I am most proficient at in scripting, and I don't really want to learn awk. So what we need to do is to find a way to basically make this retain its tableness. So what we want this to print out as is like this. This would be the appropriate way to print this information. And then we'd have this repeated about 500 times. Now, what would be really cool, really cool, is if I could get this to print the number of rows as well. I'm gonna take a look at the query and see if I can figure that out, because that would be helpful to know how many rows are in that table. And I could probably do some sort of weird join thing. Let's say join, okay, so that would be as C join, and then I should be able to do a subquery here. Select count star from imp, and I need to do an as here, as count from imp. Let's see. Or, you know what? I don't think I even need to do a join. That doesn't make sense. I think I can just do a select count in what I'm selecting. So let me try that. I think this can work. Column def, and then count star. No. Can I do this? Select count star. I don't know if you can have a subquery in the select, but let's try it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a script. Right now, this is just one of the table names. I'm going to make a script that does this for all 500 table names. Hopefully, we'll get this all done within the next half hour. I don't know if I'll get it done with the next half hour. We'll see here. Because I got to go after that. Let's see if this one works. It's probably going to give me an error. Oh. That worked out well. Okay, so this one might end up having 0 rows there. I think that was the problem with this table. Let's try just employee. Employee. Let's see what happens there. Invalid object name. Okay. So let me get the list of table names again. And what was it? Show all, was that it? Tables? Was it tables? Select star from information schema.tables. This is all of it. Table name. No, I want schema name.tables. Yes. Yeah, that was wrong. So we can get rid of that. Right? That was wrong. Because we're going to use this database. Right? No, that's the database name, so we put that in brackets. Yeah, I think so. Okay, I think this is right. So let me run my SQL do on getting all the tables. Okay, cool. So now I should be able to put this in tables.txt. Should be able to do a little Vim magic on this. I am going to go ahead and say, let's take, there we go, that's a little better, 9 of those. And then I'm going to go back to my old friend here. Actually, here's what we'll do. Replace 9 with just 1. There we, perfect. Perfect. This is looking good, I think. Okay, 566. All right, good enough. Let's see what. Now, let me see if I can rip grep. So rip grep is like grep. So this is like doing grep-i, except I'm doing rg. And you can get rip grep webinstall.dev/rip grep, RIP-GREP. Anyway, let's look for employee in table names. Okay. Oh. I've got mouse integrations turned on because I'm an idiot. So my scroll's not working right. I have to hit Control A, escape, because I'm in screen, so I have to hit Control A instead of just Control, and then escape. Let's see, we've got an imp table that basically is useless. Imp. Almost all of these are temp. I don't want to see the temp tables. Let me do this. Let me hit up here. Oops. Escape. I don't know why it takes so long. All right, I'm going to, there we go. Let me pipe this to RG-V, which will invert the selection, and I want to get rid of anything that is temp. Okay. Prod, PRD maybe means prod. PR, no idea. Employees audit, balances, master. I don't know. Let's take a look at that. Might as well. Try what I'm looking at right now is I'm just trying to find a table that isn't empty so I can run this and be able to test that I'm getting the count that I want to get, because that's valuable, possibly. Anyway, describe table. And I think there's a way to do variables here. I think in SQL Server it's something like at my var equals something like that. But I don't know if you can do variables, one, and strings like this, and two, generally you can't use variables with table names or just in databases in general. Usually you can't use variables for table names or column names. So I'm not going to do that. Let's see what this gives me if I run this now. All right. And this is, now that's the tables when I want columns. There we go, columns. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, replace 9 spaces with a single space. That gives us this. And then replace 9, is it 9? 9 whatchamajigs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. With a single whatchamajig. It's not the best, but it'll do. Let me run it again. There we go. That looks a lot better. Yeah, much better. Okay, so it looks like this table has 2,000 records in it, so that's useful information. All right, so now I am getting a listing of what the table is. These are the columns. Now it says column definition is null. That doesn't make any sense to me. Let me go ahead and try this again, but I'm going to try, instead of column definition, I'm going to just put star here. Yeah, I'm going to comment this out. I'm just going to comment all this out. Actually, I don't need to comment that part out. I'm just going to put this as star. Yeah, get rid of all that, get rid of all that, get rid of all that. Select star. Select star from the stored procedure listing all of the column information. Or I guess I could have just run the stored procedure. Should be the same difference here. Okay, let's run this again. And my goal is to see, I do want the column definition. It's not strictly necessary. It's not an absolute must, but I do want it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 of those with 1. Run that again. And 9 of those with 1. I could probably run that again, but I'm not going to right now. And then let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So replace 9 of those with just 1. And then run that again, 9 spaces with just 1. Okay, so this is kind of wide. So what is this varchar bit? That's what I was looking for. That's what I thought column definition was. Let's see, where SQL data type. Maybe that's what it is. I'm going to change this up real quick. Give me a second here. Bring this over. And what happens if I just make this all the way? Okay, we're going to make a new screen. Make this really tiny. You're not going to be able to see this. I'm not going to be able to see this. That's okay. The purpose here is just a little bit of hope that I can see it better. So I got my SQL do. And then, oh, what was the command that I was just running? Let me get back over here. No. Get out of there. Quit. Quit. There we go. Oh, I can just open up that file. That's all I need to do. Because the file's already saved. Okay, sweet. Much better. So at least everything fits on the screen here. Let me make that about as big as I can. Nope. There, I guess that's about as big as I can make it and still have everything fit. So I realize you won't be able to see this, but that's okay, you get the point. I'm just making it really, really tiny so that I can see everything and figure out what these things are named. So that is table owner. This is table name. I'm just trying to get these things lined up. This is column name. This is data type. Is that right? Type name. Oh, weird. Data type is -7. That's a data type? 11 is a data type? Okay, well, we'll run with it because what else do we do? All right, column name, data, type name, precision. Cool. So this is just to help me understand the database. I'm just trying to get these things lined up. And then I'm going to edit my script, and then I'm going to write another script so we can go through all 500 tables. And there's no way I'm going to get this done in 15 minutes, but whatever. Let's see, is there anything else that looks important here? Scale, radix, nullable, remarks, column, def. And so many of these things are null. That does not make it easy to tell what it actually is. SQL data type. Does anything else look interesting here? Is nullable. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. SS data type. Who knows what that means? So it looks like the only, out of all this information, which again, you can't really see, but I will, we'll get to it in a second. So there's precision, length, scale, radix, nullable, remarks, column definition, SQL data type, SQL date time sub, char octet length, ordinal position is nullable, SS data type. Yeah, so it looks like the only thing I need is what table, so table qualifier, I guess, is the database. MS SQL Server is so weird. They call databases catalogs, but apparently here it's called qualifier. Table qualifier, table name, column name, and then data type, not column definition. Because column def is always null for everything. So that's not useful information. All right, let me get out of here. We're going to switch back over to this one. All right, so I'm going to go back in here. Let's go back to this. And we don't want c.columnDef. We want c.dataType. All right, this is great. So the information that we're going to have repeated here is going to be the table name. It's going to be the same for everything. But again, because I'm going to do this on 500, that's okay. Because it's going to end up being a long list. And then the count is going to be the same. So this is fine. We should see a count that looks in the order of what we expect the number of employees in this company to have been over all of the last 20 years. And that will give us slightly a clue. So if we see a table that has 10 in it, we know that's not it. So we can basically, the goal is going to be to search for tables that have things like first name and employee ID, and then find, out of those, find ones that seem to have about the right number of employees that we'd expect to have, which is somewhere between hundreds and thousands, probably not tens of thousands. All right, I'm going to run this command again. And now I'm doing my little trick. Replace 9 spaces with a single space, and I'm going to do that twice. And then replace 9 dashes with a single dash, and I'm going to do that twice. And then this looks right. All right, so we've got the number of rows in the table, and then we've got the names of the table. Wait, data, oh, was it data type name? Was that what it was? Let me go back into this other one here. Data type, oh, it's type name. type name. So we don't want data type, we want type name. Let me go back to this. Not data type, but rather type name. Okay. And there is a circus in the background. So sorry if you are hearing that. And unfortunately, I don't actually have the comments open on YouTube or Twitch right now. I'll see if I can just open up YouTube comments. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to put this over here on my other screen. So I'll get YouTube open, and then if you are watching live and you've got something you want to ask me, then you will be able to. Just one second while I get that open. And let me get this paused. Okay, cool. Oh no, I'm not on the right YouTube account. Let me switch YouTube accounts. There we go. And let me make sure I've got this paused so that I'm not chewing up bandwidth. Okay, cool. So now I've got the comments open on YouTube. If you do happen to be watching live, you can make a comment and maybe I'll see it. All right, so back to this. So I've got the list of tables, which is right here. I could probably get this to just print out the table name because really that's all that I need. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go into here and I think that was show all, or was it tables? I should rename this. Okay, I do not want to select star. Rather, I want to just select table name. That's it. That's all I care about. Oh, that's going to be too old. There we go. Okay, there we are. Tables.txt. What's up?
You're taking your wife home.
Okay.